Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome, my dear student, to revision. Today, inshallah, we will revise Traveler 3, Model 1, and part from 2. Model 1 talks about window in the world from page 5 to 20. We discussed here the most famous places in some cities or countries in the world, and in Model 2 heroes we discussed the historical heroes and another or some names of heroes from the ordinary life from page 21 to 27. Objectives of the lesson today. What do we want from this revision? We want to revise the different items in Model 1 and Model 2, like present, simple, progressive, like some point in grammar, like direct, indirect question, or difficult words and writing tasks in this. For the writing, we have writing paragraph about the importance of English. Write an email, paste in prompts. You should follow the rules. How can I write it? And write a description of the person you admire most. And this is in the first part of Module 2. You should, of course, follow the rule. Don't forget to put introduction, then the main body, then the conclusion and your opinion. You should follow the rules. You should indent your paragraph. Be careful to spelling, to grammar when you write your paragraph. In the vocabulary we studied in this unit some confused word and some British English and the American word for it. Some verbs with preposition and phrasal verbs with on and off, and some new words. We discussed its meaning from the passage. For the grammar, we will study present simple, present progressive, past simple, past progressive, direct and indirect question, and also direct and indirect object, and relative clauses, and making questions. Present simple is used for, let's revise it quickly. When I say present simple, I want the first form of the verb with is or without is. With is, if I talk about singular, he, she, it. We use it for permanent situation, for a long time. Mr. Ahmed lives in Riyadh. Okay? Or repeated actions, like when I say Fatima wakes up at 7:30 every morning. So repeated action. Present simple are also used for general truth or fact, like when I say water boils at 100 degrees. Time expressions for this tense. Word refer to repeated action, like always, often, usually, 3 times, once, twice, every day, every week, at the weekend, in the morning, on Mondays, on Saturdays. Present progressive. Now, present progressive. Used for, just look now. You know present progressive, be and ing. What I mean with be, it's in the present. So, am, is, or are, according to the subject, and the main verb in ing. Why we use this tense? When I talk about something happening now. Short time happening now. Mr. Ahmed is explaining the lesson right now. So Mr. Ahmed singular, so is an ing and now. Or to describe temporary situation just for this time, this year, this month, this week. Example, Fatima is staying with her aunt at the moment. At this time, at the moment. Also, present progressive used for describe action or situation which are developing, increasing around the present simple. Like when I say air pollution is increasing in our city, okay, is increasing in our city, so developing. Or if I want to talk about future arrangement, if you have a plan and you arrange for it, I'm visiting my grandparents at the weekend. It's for a future, but this is what future arrangement, you arrange for it. So you can use a present progressive in this case. Time expressions now, at the moment, at the present, today, or future arrangement like next week, next year, tonight, tomorrow, this year, temporary action, this week, today, these days. Don't forget, we have a stative verb. What I mean with it, verbs that aren't used in continuous, the verb that don't take ing form. Okay, like what? Verb of senses, see, feel, hear, smell, taste, or verb of opinion and perceptions, know, agree, think, believe. Usually we use it in present simple, not with ing. Or emotion like hate, love, or other verbs like coast, own, belong, and be. In this unit also we discussed the questions, okay? And we know we have yes, no question, WH question. In yes, no question just we use helping verb, but with WH we use word like who, which, the, what, where, when. This is, we call it question words. Who, as you know, for people. Which, for people or things, but limited choice. But when I say what, it's for thing just and unlimited choice. Questions. We divide the question into two kinds, subject question and object question. So we divide the question into yes, no, and WH. And then we divide WH into subject and object question. What I mean with subject question, I'm asking about the subject. The answer is the subject, the person who did the verb, the action. Like the sentence, Tom saw the accident. Tom subject, saw the verb, the accident object. I'm asking about Tom. So Tom is a person. I will say who saw the accident. Just no need for helping verb. In subject question, no need for the helping verb did, does, or those verbs. Just complete the sentence. Who saw the accident? Also, an accident happened outside. Subject here, accident, happened, the verb. I'm asking about subject question about the accident. So I will say, what? Think, what happened outside? An accident. So no need for helping verb. Now, object question. In object, we are asking about the object. For example, she is writing an article. She, the subject, is writing the verb, an article, object. I'm going to ask about the object, usually object after the verb. Here, I need helping verb, okay? Here you will use what? WH, the suitable WH, then helping verb, then the subject and the main verb, okay? So again, WH, helping verb, subject, main verb. What I mean with that? WH, what? Because article, think. Helping verb, here you have helping, is. So I will use it. If I don't, okay, I will use do or does or did. Subject, she. Main verb, writing. So what's she writing? She's writing an article. And the same for number 2. I'm talking to Amal. I'm talking to Amal. Okay? Amal, a person. So say, who are you talking to? Because I am become are you. Who are you talking to? WH, helping verb, subject, main verb. So in object, we need helping verb. Then we discussed the difference between direct and indirect object. Sometimes in some sentence, like the one or the sentences before, the last two sentences, we have one object. But sometimes I can have two objects in the sentence. Okay? Like when I say Adam sent Khalid an email. Adam subject, sent the verb, Khalid object, and email object. So here I have two objects. So I will call one of them direct, the other one indirect. So if I have two, I will say direct object, indirect object. What is direct and indirect object? What's the difference? Direct object indicates a thing, refers to a thing. Email, car, book, chair, okay? So thing. So direct usually indicates a thing. Adam, subject, sent the verb, Khalid, person. An email, object, and it refers to thing. So an email is direct object. Why it's direct? It refers to a thing, okay? How can I ask about it? What did Adam send to Khalid? Okay, as usual, WH and helping verb, subject and main verb. The answer is an email. What about indirect object? Indicates person, refers to a person. So indirect means or indicates a person who we do the action to or for. Okay, so this is indirect. Like the sentence, Adam sent Khalid an email. We said Khalid object, an email direct because think. So what about Khalid? Indirect. Why? Person who we do the action to or for. The same question. Who did Adam send an email to? The answer will be the indirect object, to Khalid. Okay? So when you make the question, don't use this word because this is the answer, Khalid. Who did Adam send an email to? To Khalid. Another thing we discussed also in this unit, we have direct and indirect, but here what? Question. Direct and indirect question. What I mean with direct question? Let's look. Where is High Street? Where is the park? This is direct. Direct question. How can I make it indirect? When I add some words before it. When I write before, do you know? Do you remember? Can you tell me? Okay, so when I put this word before it, it will become indirect because this question comes after it. So question inside another question or hidden question. Okay, so this is indirect question. What will happen? Is it the same? First, you will start with this word. Do you know? Then you go to the question. WH, use the WH that you have. Where, what, when. If it's yes, no question, use if. Okay? Then change the question into sentence. How? If you have helping verb and then subject, make it subject and then verb. For example, where is High Street? Is verb, high street subject. You will make it as a sentence. How? Where high street is subject and then verb as a sentence. Okay? What about number 2? What does this word mean? This is direct. If I say, can you tell me? So this is indirect. Okay? What will happen here? What? You have does here. Do you know what will happen? If you have student does, do, did, you will omit them. And instead of does, add s. Instead of did, put the verb in the past. Do, nothing will happen, just omit it. Okay? So, can you tell me what this word means? I put s as a sentence. As a sentence. Okay? In Module 1, we discussed past simple. What I mean past simple? The second form of the verb with regular or irregular. Regular like adding ed, covered, cleaned, studied. Irregular like saw, went, you know? So these were bought, like that. Why I use past simple? To describe a complete action in the past, happened and finished in the past, and you have a specific time. I bought a laptop yesterday. So yesterday, I used the past, bought, the past from buy. Number 2, to describe completed actions that happen one after the other in the past. So sometimes you have different action, happened all of them in the past and no time between them. One happened after the other. So you are going to use past simple. Like I'm going to say, I went to the shop. What else? Paid and then left. All of them. Past simple. More. Past simple is used for or to describe past habits or repeated actions in the past. Like when I say, when I was younger, so not now, in the past. I often, repeated action. So went, the past, jogging in the park. The time expression for this tense is ago, yesterday, and you mentioned the time in the past, last week, month, tonight. Okay? To plus base form. To describe past habits or repeated actions in the past. So if I want to talk about past habits and happened in the past, I will use used to and then the base form, no ending. My father used to drive to work, but now he walks. Habit, okay? So used to drive, this is in the past. Because it's just habit in the past, you have used to and the helping or the base form. Another, we used to play football every day, but we don't anymore. In the past, repeated action, but in the past, not now. So we use used to and then the base form, play. We have another thing, be used to and ing form, or get used to plus ing form. When can we use them? Just like be and used to plus ing form means be accustomed to do something. Okay? What I mean with be, I mean with it am, is, are, and so on. And then used to, and then the verb with ing form, not with or in base form. I'm not. Can you see be here? I'm not used to, then staying, ing. I'm not used to staying up late on weekdays. Okay? Here it means be accustomed to do that or to do this thing. Another one may be get used to plus ing form. What does this one mean? Become accustomed to something. Like when I say, I can't get used to getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so now in present, I can't get used to, okay, get used to, then ing, getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I can't become accustomed to this thing. Also, in Module 2 now, let's go to Module 2. We'll study the first part. Here we have past progressive. You know past? So was or were. Was for singular, were for plural. Progressive ing. So was or were and ing. When I use this tense, let's look. To describe action in progress at a certain time in the past. Like when I say, what were you doing at 9 o'clock last night? Certain time in the past. I say, I was having a dinner. I was having a shower at 9 o'clock. Okay? Or to describe actions that were happening at the same time. Okay, and were happening, take long time. Usually like when I say while, as. Okay? So, while I was cooking, or as I was cooking. While and as, I used here what? Past progressive. Okay? So, while I'm doing that, what's happening? The telephone rang. Something interrupted and it's shorter. So, the shorter one will be in past simple. The longer one, past progressive. So I was cooking. During that, the telephone rang. But when I say while I was cooking, Amal was sleeping, that means they were happening at the same time. Okay? At the same time. So I use past progressive in both clauses. Relative clauses. Also in this model, we have relative clauses. What's relative clauses? You know, the clause that start with one of these words, who, which, whose, where, when, okay, to describe the sentence before. Usually people, I use who for things and animals and ideas, which for positions, whose for a place, where for time, when. Defining and non-defining clause. What I mean with defining, important, and non-defining, extra. He is the boy who or that lives next door. Can I say he is the boy just? Is the meaning complete? Of course, no. We need to complete. He's the boy who or that lives next door. That's why it's defining. It's important. We should complete the sentence by using this clause, and we can't use comma. What about the other sentence? Mr. Brown, who is our history teacher, is quite old. I can say Mr. Brown is quite old, and the meaning will be clear. If I say who is our history teacher, that means this is just extra information. I can use it, I can omit it. That's why I put it between comma. This is non-defining. Now, let's take a revision for the grammar, the question of the grammar. Okay? In grammar and vocabulary. In exam, as you know, we can have different ways, so we will devise or revise most of them now. For example, A, match the words with their meaning. You have words and the meaning. In the first column, figure out. What does figure out mean? Understand. What about awesome? Fantastic. What about associate? Connect. Influence. Have an effect on. And of course, one is extra in the second column. Another way, B, choose the correct words. Layla has a, you look which one is suitable to the meaning of the sentence. You just talk about Layla, special thing about Layla. So, has habit of eating when she gets nervous. He is willing to work very hard to his goal. What's the suitable verb here? Achieve his goal. Another way, complete the sentence with the correct form of the verbs. I'll give you verbs and you complete the sentence with the suitable one, and maybe you correct the verb if present or past. Okay? My parents have always me to become a teacher. Encourage. But just encourage? You should put it in past participle. Encouraged, because you have. And you know have, you should have with have what? Perfect, past, perfect, present perfect. So after have or has or had, you should have past participle. So encouraged, the third form. This book, singular, one. So you say combines, and present simple. Combines, this is true, fact. This book combines both poetry and photography. Another way, fill in the blank. You have cooperate to, with, foreigners, entertain, preposition or verbs, and you look to the suitable one. This is an international firm, international company, and most of our clients, customers are what? Foreigners, international, so foreigners, not from the same country. These books belong, usually with belong, I'm going to use what? To, belong to Amal. I'll give them to her later. Some people associate money, what do you think the suitable one? With, associate money with happiness. Another question for vocabulary, mark the odd word, the strange word. What do you think? Banks, elevator, vacation, soccer, lift. Lift. Why? The other words are American English, but lift for British one, you know. In American, okay, and we have British English, okay? So elevator or lift. Encourage, educate, replicas, entertain, achieve. The odd word is replicas. Why? All of them verbs, but replicas, noun. Copies, it means copies, noun. Now let's look to the grammar. For the grammar, we have also different ways. Okay. Number one, choose the correct words. Tony, me, with my homework, tonight. I said tonight. When I say tonight, now. So when I talk about now, is helping, present progressive, be ing. Tony, so is an ing. Could you tell me? So this is indirect. In indirect, the second question become a sentence. WH, subject, verb. So which one? A, how? I can, subject, verb. Okay? But not do I, verb, subject, not do you, not can I. All of them what? Verb, subject. So no, the second one will be as a sentence, subject, verb. So how I can get. Another way, write a question for the underlined word. You will make a question about the underlined word. The red mobile phone is more expensive than the blue one. The question will be, which one is more expensive? Which mobile is more expensive? The answer, the red mobile one. Or, I bought a new pair of shoes yesterday. I want a new pair of shoes. You'll say, what? Think. Okay, so what? And the verb in the past, bought. So what did you buy yesterday? I bought a new pair of shoes. You are going to make a question about the underlined word. The answer will be the underlined word. Another way, rearrange. You are going to rearrange to form complete sentence. How can your arrangement start with subject, verb, object, and complement? If it's a sentence especially. She is starting university in September. They did not sleep well last night. Subject, verb, object, and complement. Maybe I ask you between brackets to do something. They are working. Make it negative. So, they are not working. She wrote a long story last week. Make yes, no question. Did she write a long story last week? Okay. Another way, do as shown between brackets. My uncle visited us yesterday. Correct the verb. Of course, visited. It's yesterday. While, when I say while, was cooking. While she was cooking, she heard a loud voice. Another way, make indirect question starting with the words given. Where is the park? This is the direct. You are going to make it indirect. Can you tell me where the park is as sentence? Subject, verb. How many eggs do we need for the cake? Do you know? How many eggs? You omit do, okay? How many eggs we need for the cake as sentence? So we come to the end. Thanks a lot. We will complete, inshallah, the revision in the next class. Thanks a lot.